TIFU telling my dad about Tom. Throwaway account. TL. Doctor below. A week ago, a random homeless man waved at me when I, 18 meters, was walking home from school with my friends. I did what I thought was the polite thing to do and waved back. As soon as the homeless man saw me wave, he yelled, "I banged your dad." My friends laughed. Feeling somewhat compelled to set the record straight, I yelled, "My dad's not gay." "Bro," the homeless man yelled, "tell your dad Thomas is that Italian SS." One of my friends frozen said, "Dude, isn't your dad, like, Italian?" I was done communicating with the crazy homeless person and walked away without saying anything to anyone, not even my friends. Towards the end of the day, I decided to ask my dad if he knew a man named Tom. My dad narrowed his eyes and repeatedly said Tom, 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 like he was struggling to connect the dots. It seemed like my dad didn't know anyone named Tom, which was good enough for me. I was prepared to close the case and never mention who again, but then my mom appeared out of nowhere and reminded my dad that he used to work with a Tom. My dad awkwardly complimented my mom for having such a good memory at her age before confirming that he did indeed work with a Tom, but the two of them somehow lost contact when coworker Tom became unemployed Tom a few months ago. I said I might have seen Tom and I think he's homeless Tom now. My dad asked what prompted me to talk to a random stranger on the street. I said the random stranger targeted me and actually did most of the talking. My dad said from now on he's gonna drive me to school and pick me up. I said I preferred walking with my friends. My dad said he preferred keeping me safe. I said it was a homeless man, not Hannibal Lecter, but both my parents agreed that I was no longer walking to school. I said time out and asked my dad if he wanted to know what Tom said about him. My dad literally stopped blinking when he looked at me and said Tom's big mouth was the reason he got fired, so if it was the same Tom that spoke to me, then he would suggest that I do what Tom failed to do, which was to keep quiet. I got the sense that my dad wanted me to stop talking about Tom, so I did. The next morning my dad made me get in his car so he could drive me to school like he said he would. All I could do was sulk. As we were driving, my dad showed me a photo on his phone of a guy and asked if that was the homeless man I saw. Not the best picture quality, the photo was clearly cropped, but there he was, the clean-cut version of homeless Tom. I said that was the guy. My dad asked me what Tom said about him. Without going into detail, I said Tom missed him. My dad asked me to explain where I saw Tom. He said he was gonna check if Tom was still there and tell him never to bother me again. When my dad and Andy saw each other again, he was picking me up from school. He seemed a lot happier than when he dropped me off. My friends at school were convinced that Tom and my dad had an office romance that came to an end when Tom lost his job. The consensus was that my dad might allow homeless Tom to put his you-know-what in my dad's you-know-where as soon as the two of them saw each other again. I refused to believe what all my friends believed until I noticed my dad low-key blushing behind the wheel when I asked if he managed to find and confront Tom. My dad said there was no sign of Tom when he checked, but he promised to go back and check again. He was quick to change the subject and ask me about school, my friends, my GF, etc. A week ago, my dad preferred working from home because he could spend more time with me and my mom, but for the past couple of days he's apparently been spending most of his time at the office. Yesterday my mom found an unused condom in the laundry and assumed it was mine. I said the condom didn't belong to me, but my mom gave me the slow nod of mistrust before interrogating me about my non-existent ex-life. Meanwhile, my dad had no idea what to tell my mom when she made him aware that some of his clean laundry had gone missing. Socks, underwear, gone. Something was going on. The unusually long hours at work, the mysterious condom, the missing laundry, all pointed towards someone who's not very good at covering their tracks. I get the feeling that the condom was for Tom. He's probably wearing my dad's missing socks and underwear. That being said, I have nothing to confirm that my dad is cheating on my mom with another man, but if he is, and the other guy ends up being Tom, then technically I'm responsible for potentially ruining a marriage by accidentally reuniting my possibly gay father with someone that was out of his life for good reason. TL. Doctor, a homeless man approached me on the street and said my dad, who is married to my mom, used to have sex with him. I informed my dad about the homeless man and now I think the two of them might be having sex again? TIFU by accidentally saving video Snapchat of female ex-coworker, I'm stight male. The UCK up was actually 8 days ago. I was close work friends with said former co-worker for 3 years. It was very much a get online andrant about work all day, every day. Occasionally, over the course of those 3 years we'd grab a drink after work. I mean like once every approximately 4 months, so never a regular thing, and we'd hang out during the monthly work happy hour with others there once a month. Most of our talk was about work. I left the job 4 years ago and the friendship has naturally lessened over time. It got to point we'd occasionally text or Snapchat a few things, every other month or so. There was no regular schedule to it. Just randomly if something we knew about each other popped up in everyday life. 6 weeks ago it randomly came up that we both were getting into running, had exact same goal, started basically the same time, and were both currently at about the same time, distance. She responded, "OMG, accountability buddies. I've been worried about falling off. Let's check in on runs." I responded sure. Since then, we each run about approximately 3 days a week, send pics of stats of run, and sometimes it leads to small little convo about running and such. I run outside so send screenshot from my GPS app. She's currently on treadmill so sends pic of just treadmill stats. 8 days ago, for first time, she sent a quick vid of her smiling with thumbs up, then flipped video over to show treadmill stats. I think because it was a bit of a breakthrough as far as her runs. I couldn't see the numbers well and wanted to view them, so I tried to replay it. My phone wasn't registering my clicks, so I kept clicking to open, and I think it must have registered as what happens when you hold to save a message. I got a snap message saved notification. The snap wasn't ultra revealing, but in video you could see she was running in a sports bra. I thought, well, UCK. I tried explaining what happened and then made a joke about me being so *oddamn old, ucking up Snapchat. She just responded, haha. I chalked it up as slightly embarrassing, but figured I had enough credit of not being a creep. Legit have zero romantic feelings for her. Since Ethan, she's sent 0 pics of her runs, by far longest gap, and has been very short with nice in response to the couple I've sent her. I'm probably officially in creep territory to her or something. Small possibility she just has fallen off of her goal somewhat, but guessing a hey why no more run pics thing isn't great move either lol. Alas, TLDR accidentally saved Snapchat video of female friend of 7 years in sports bra. She's mostly stopped communicating with me. TIFU by fooling around with a neighbor who's on the WA board. I know this is a first world problem. It still sucks. I had fooled around with a neighbor who happens to shit on the board of our building's WA. It hadn't been an issue until recently when I declined to fool around with him. I learned that he had been dating some girl, and as far as I can tell, she does not know that he has an FWB in the building. Feeling uncomfortable about the FWB arrangement, I told him very politely what my reasons were for saying no to a request for a quick beach. I had to remind him very calmly and rationally that he cannot grandfather an casual ex when he is in a relationship with someone else. Life does not work that way. Well, I think he's angry. I can't prove it without a lot of expensive legal fees that I don't think is worth the squeeze. In short, he sits on the HO board, and I am pretty certain that he is an influential voice on the Architectural Improvement Committee. This is the committee that residents shade to submit unit alteration applications to for approval. Yes, even for something like wall-mounting TVs or putting a planter on the balcony. One of the items that needs pre-approval is outdoor furniture. I imagined it was pretty pro forma. Fill out the application, make sure it is heavy enough that it won't fly off the balcony and hurt someone on the street, and bam, approved. When I saw the set that I liked for an outdoor refresh, I placed the order because I thought it would be approved without problems. It was a limited sale and a very good deal. Then I got the rejection on Friday. To make matters worse, the furniture had already been delivered because it took the WA forever to review the application. The reason the committee provided was that the color of the sunbrella cushions was not consistent with the aesthetic of the common spaces. I immediately replied with a question. Why did Unitex get approved for their teal cushions and mine got denied? Their reply was that it was an oversight. Moving forward they would not allow unapproved colors anymore. I just know it was him. I can't prove it without getting an attorney and alleging inconsistent application of WA rules, depose them and find out. But again, the juice is not worth the squeeze. I can get new cushions that are neutral, but I can't return my fun cushions and I'm out several $100s because of it. This sucks so much. TLDR. My balcony furniture got rejected by the hoe and I highly suspect it is because my ex-FWB is being a petty biatch. I'm also out hundreds of dollars because the cushions that were rejected are non-refundable. Maybe I should have agreed to his request until after my outdoor furniture was approved.